Two people have now been sentenced after pleading guilty to a 7-year-old murder case. In federal court Monday, 27-year-old Dylan Millard and 31-year-old Charmaine Medicine learned they'd both be spending the next 30 years in federal prison for killing 15-year-old Alize Millard in 2019. Now, this is a case we've been following since the beginning. In 2021, we sat down with Alize Millard's family when they still had so many unanswered questions. And in tonight's Eye on Kellerland, we sit down with them again as the case comes to a close.
I just want him to be remembered and never forgotten, and just remember his beautiful smile.
I think I've been living in a dream. It's been a dream to me these 7 years. Because in my heart and in my mind, I feel like he was going to come home. I look up the road and I see him coming. And it's been hard.
7 years ago, Alize Millard, a 15-year-old boy who lived in Gregory, was spending the summer with his grandparents in a rural area known as Grass Mountain on the Rosebud Reservation.
He was there to help me and his grandpa, me and my husband. He came over to me to help me because I just had a kidney transplant. And he was there for me. And he took care of me and my husband.
One night that summer, he went out with two people he thought he could trust. But Alize never returned home.
I'll never forgive Dylan for what he took away from us.
Nearly 5 years after Alize was found dead, Dylan Millard, Alize's cousin, came forward and confessed his crimes to a police officer on the reservation, which led to his and Charmaine Medicine's arrests. They'd each eventually plead guilty to second-degree murder and detail what happened the night Alize was killed. At the time of the murder, Dylan, who was 20, and Medicine, who was 24, were dating. Dylan believed Alize was romantically interested in Medicine. Meanwhile, Medicine was concerned Alize would give information to the police about a separate crime. So they decided to kill Alize. In the early morning hours of July 9, 2019, Dylan and Medicine took Alize out drinking. After Alize was intoxicated, Dylan began to strangle him. He then carried Alize's body over to a tree and hanged him in an attempt to make it look like a suicide. Dylan and Medicine left but returned a few hours later. They then poured motor oil on Alize's body and lit him on fire to get rid of any fingerprint or DNA evidence. At their sentencing hearings, a federal judge in Pierre described the case as, quote, dark and difficult, and said that in his 2 years of being in this courtroom, he does not recall a case more, quote, viscerally jarring. They were each given 30 years in federal prison.
We finally got justice, but it's not the justice that he deserved and our family deserved. But it's been a long, hard 7 years, and it's maybe we'll get some kind of closure out of this, but I just ain't happy with what the judge had, given him.
It's not fair. He should have got life.
The case may now be closing, but the pain of a life taken too soon lives on. Now, Alize's family is left with only memories of a young boy who never even made it to high school.
I was a teacher at Spring Creek School, and he would always say, Grandma, I'm going to go read to the first graders. He always wanted to do something special for anybody.
His beautiful smile, his laughter, just his presence alone. If anybody needed help, he was always there, He was really loved, and he will surely be missed.
The maximum sentence for second-degree murder is life in prison. However, in court Monday, the judge explained that based off of other factors in this specific case, such as mental health and prior criminal histories, the guidelines for the sentences ranged around 18 to 22 years. He noted he doesn't often go over those guidelines in his sentences, but felt it was warranted in this case. The judge also recommended to the Bureau of Prisons that both Dylan Millard and Medicine be placed in federal prison facilities capable of handling their mental health needs.